Did you know that statistically, leaders who ask for help and the right type of help can grow their business more significantly than any other person? However, the challenge has always been, how do you get the right type of help and how do you make sure that people support you in your own nature, in what motivates you, what not to do to create trouble in your paradise? Today, we'll be discussing with resilience expert Lorca Smetana on how do we truly create a menu for other people to maximize your leadership. Welcome to Provider's Edge, the podcast that helps healthcare entrepreneurs and innovators break down barriers and control their business, life, and future with valuable action steps. With me, your host, Sabrina Runbeck, a recovered clinician and a business deal catalyst. Let's rewrite the rules and create a positive social impact while increasing your profitability. Welcome back. And today we have Lorca Smetana here with us. She is a weight finder. And knowing her through many different events, through our body of nine identification, for those of you who hasn't heard about it, it's something that we definitely believe in understanding how important it is for you to understand both your physical self, the way that you interpret information, perceive the world, and how you truly influence the world, and the ability to not just say, oh yeah, step into someone else's shoes, but truly be able to know how to do that. Lorca has been such an amazing person. We've been working together for a while to create something that she has started, and we can't wait to tell you more about it. But before we dive into all the good stuff, let me tell you about this amazing person. Lorca has been a resilient leader, and she's someone who has a different, helping people to design a new level of energy, innovation, compassion, and recovery. She's a survivor of the 1986 school mountaineering tragedy on Mount Hood. Lorca has been teaching and learning for over 35 years about risk, personal sustainability, recovery from tragedy, and she helps people to find more space, more health, and more joy in your life. And she worked among many leaders across the industry, and for people who has been in the fence, I'm doing good. I don't think I'm burning out. Or you're at the other spectrum. I have so much going for me, but there's too many decisions out there. I'm starting to feel like I'm burning out. This is the session you want it to be. And she is a TEDx speaker, a keynote speaker, and she is writing her books. Can't wait for those to be published. And she helps forward-minded leaders to get better understanding of what is it to truly function vibrantly and build their own resilient ecosystem. Hi, Lorca.
Hello. Hi, Sabrina.
House and farm.
It's a beautiful day on the farm in Montana.
Yes. And I feel like when you go through these tragic moments and other people go through tragic moments, we all have the choice of what to do next. And some people really come out of it and then start learning more and more about it. And some people really pivot and really got stuck. So with you have gone through the tragedies that you did and now able to work with some amazing people who build huge companies or even really transform what they were already on the projection to do and amplify that even bigger. What's that journey look like for you? So give us a little bit of that story in what does it really trigger you to say, this is the type of work that I really need to go into to help people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, The accident that I was in was a climbing accident, and I was on the climbing team at my high school. And as a 16-year-old, you have a lot of ideas about what your life can be like. And it's a really exciting time. And the world is very big, and there are so many possibilities. And there's a great deal of beauty, and a great deal of love, and a great deal of fun. And for me to have an accident where we lost 9 people in one event on the mountain, and which included both teachers and students in my school. And it was a small school, and these were people I was close to. And so it was life-changing for everybody involved.
In my recent interview with Lorca, we went into the journey of self-awareness and resilience. Our guest shared an incredible story of surviving a tragic climbing accident that claimed 9 lives. This experience taught invaluable lessons about resilience and the importance of acknowledging our own limits to truly thrive. We also discussed burnout, the silent productivity killer many leaders face. By recognizing the signs early and integrating practices like mindfulness, setting boundaries, and prioritizing self-care, leaders can create a balanced, sustainable work environment. And more importantly, having a true manual for the rest of their team to support them so they can stay in your genius zone. Remember, a leader like you who take care of themselves and be able to have the right people surrounding you to support you in the best way that you can perform is the best to lead their team to success. A quick pause, everyone. I'd love for you to take a screenshot of whichever device you're using to tune into today's episode and post it on LinkedIn. Tag me, Sabrina, Runbeck, and share your thoughts on today's topic. Let's challenge the norms in your business and drive meaningful change in healthcare together. Now, let's get back to the rest of our episode.
And for me, who was also on the mountain itself, there was an extra element of realizing that I had a radically different change, not only in dealing with grief and dealing with loss and dealing with pain, and other things surrounding it, but also things like grief and loss and change take bandwidth. And so moving forward, even as I was healing, I realized that I had a really different, for a while at least, I was going to have a very different capacity in terms of what I could say yes to. So all the dreams were still there, all of the skills that I had and was in the process of building. And I couldn't say yes to everything because healing takes resources and time and energy and attention. And when those needs aren't met, when those needs aren't acknowledged and seen, then they will stay and they will loop back around. And so at that point, being really curious about not only how do I heal, how do I move towards being a really whole person again in the ways that I felt broken, but also how do I understand myself in a way that is beautifully accessible and that lets me make even minute by minute decisions about what I can say yes to and what I can't say yes to yet. Because if I say yes to more than I have to give, then either I will break or the system that I'm within will break. And as a human, that's not okay. But as a leader, the stakes go up even higher. To my mind, resilience is a fundamental moral imperative in a leader because we have so much capacity to drop way more than just ourselves.
Yeah, especially things are always constantly changing. Now, even for the team that has been staying with each other for a long time, us a business, a organization expand further than where you need it to be, right? Because growth and scalability really is about where you are now and go higher than that. And when we do expand, there's more perhaps tasks, more capacity, and more people coming into our circle. We need to know how to, as you're saying, give not extra, but give it within the capacity you can. And really with joy, with the things that you still feel passionate and you're good at and doesn't create a burden to continue to create that drive. And I believe that's one of the things that you even created for the island concept, which we are building the Book of You retreat for, is a combination of different tools that we already gathered to say, how do we in this body and this mind? It's not just going to a leadership conference, going to a retreat, just learn more about myself. But it's also how do we give ourselves the tools and everybody else around us, our peers, our co-founders, our staff, the menu that they really need to support the gifts, the genius, the skill sets, the personal preference that we need to be, right? How crucial is that really when it comes to building resilience and creating this specific structure of understanding who you are and building the ecosystem around them and having a menu at the end of the day, right? No brainer. So when you're thinking about the resilience training, when perhaps really we can even start by thinking about what is resilience. I feel like people even have misconception of what that is.
Yeah. I have fairly specific ideas about it. The first thing that I would say, the bad news is that endurance is not resilience. So, but that's also the amazing news in that we can start to ask ourselves, where am I enduring and where am I regeneratively refilling consistently so that I always persistently, not 100% of the time, but persistently have more welling up inside me that's available for the next thing that comes around the corner.
We dissect the crucial role of holistic leadership in business growth. A thriving business demands a healthy leader. Harmonizing personal well-being with the pressures of scaling a company is challenging but essential. Effective leaders know that their health directly impacts their organization's health. By investing in modalities that will increase your self-awareness and how others can not only be more aware of you, but able to support you in the stressful situation, as well as amazing positive movements, setting realistic goals together and fostering a supportive work environment, then you as a leader can truly guide your business, guide your company to be more effective and achieve your goals. We also highlight the importance of creating a resilient ecosystem within the organization. Building a team that supports and complements each other enhances productivity, fosters innovation, and improves job satisfaction and retention rates. We all have seen many co-founders have to be separated, go on their separate ways, and it's very challenging at that time to figure out what's that buyout plan if you're already in revenue, and how are the rest of your senior leaders, executive or co-founder, co-owners be able to divide up the profit share as you join this new way of performance. And truly is creating a supportive environment ultimately drive business growth and success. And if you're listening and thinking you have an inspiring story to share, then we want to hear from you. Apply to be one of our speakers. Visit theprovidersedge.com. Let's share your success and spread the inspiration further. All right, let's go back to the rest of our show.
And because of this, we stop worrying about being prepared for absolutely every eventuality. And we put beautiful energy into being incredibly resourced. And that's a very unique proposition. What resources me is not what resources you, or what resources your partner, or what resources your chief of staff. And so for you to be able to articulate, first understand, right? And this takes a little courage, right? To face yourself and to see, oh gosh, yeah, I do this sometimes. And that's not so great, but I'm willing to look at it and get curious about it and see how I can support myself differently. Someone who knows themselves on that level and can articulate their needs and their practices and their habits and how they learn beautifully and how they take in information and how they like to communicate, and becomes someone who is a real gift to the people around them. And every single bit of energy that goes into miscommunication, that goes into drama, that goes into someone's withdrawal, that goes into grandstanding or distraction or numbing, all of that, every single bit of that energy gets harvested back into you, and it can go where you decide you want it to go. So on a productive level, on a financial level, on on a health level, these are not small things. They are cumulative. Time baskets them and hands them back to you in both beautiful and learning ways.
Yes. And sometimes we have to give ourselves the grace to say, what does that even look like? Right? Have I gone through the self-discover event? Did I take the time for it? If not, right, that's really the prefaces of what Book of You is that we create these specific things so we can understand what is your true core value, what is your highest mission in life, how do you prefer to see the world, and how do you prefer things are communicated by you, with you. And sometimes as simple as, don't ever call me before 10 o'clock. My mind is not functioning, right? Or stop sending me email after email, because I have a VA that my assistant going through my email. So I'm probably never going to personally respond to it. And stop sending 10 different Slack groups, because then you get even more overwhelmed, right? So when we actually understand your preferences and then create a system for you to experience, for you to create activities, games, and really boost that side of who you are. And then you also shorten the gap when people coming into your life, or even the people who are existing with you. Sometimes why do we think about partnership and relationship and even business partners? Oh, we've been working together forever. They should just know. Well, not really, right? Like, for who you are, everyone is growing at their own pace and level. We don't just read each other's mind. And even though we think we know someone so well, we're constantly learning and growing and developing. And therefore, we need to be able to keep up with those adoptions by knowing who the core nature is and all the psychological, mental element, and also skill set elements and physical elements, spiritual element, wellness element, and putting it out in one place. And that's why for people who actually wanted to learn more about what Book of You looks like, feel free to go to bookofyou.com to find out more. Well, we know as we're wrapping up today, there's so much more to talk about, even the island itself, because I'm so excited for us to really have that village, right? So as we all know, you can't build anything by yourself. It takes a village to make anything happen, but it's also not just about grabbing anyone who come into your village, right? They're more of a distraction than a beneficiary. And when we're creating those environments, creating that support system, and then work in the right way, that's how we go into the spiral. So, Lorca, we would love for you to just give us a brief, perhaps like a 2-minute overview of what that experience looks like, the island experience.
Sure. So the over the decades that I've been thinking about all of this and writing about it and playing with it and teaching it, always being really curious about what are the most leveraged touch points, right? What are the things where I find people are either getting in their own way, or myself, right? Where am I getting my own way? And also that same place where I'm getting my own way is therefore also the most leveraged way for me to break free and achieve a freedom around that thing. And in my way of looking at the world, if that touch point is this beautiful access to freedom, then there is this element for me of hospitality to it, that every time I go and dive into one of these touch points, I feel welcomed into something that is endlessly giving. And so when I teach, I actually started creating and then teaching these touch points as places on an island, as if it were a small, village where you might take a vacation, for example, right? Where you might retreat to and get to know the inhabitants and spend time in those places. And so when I touch these points, whether it's developing an understanding of what is my current relationship around a really muscular, useful kind of compassion, whether it's understanding what are my blind spots, whether it's understanding whether my form of current leadership is showing up as either controlling or radiant, right? And the other dwellings, that each one is both diagnostic when I visit it, and beautifully self-prescriptive, right? Every time I visit into these arenas, I both see the truth of how I've been creating a structure that meets needs that are maybe of my old self, right? Of who I was before and that aren't serving me anymore. And then simultaneously, I see beautifully ways in which I could be and experiment with something different. So this has been the foundational blueprint and structure for all of my in-depth students, and it becomes a place where we can visit at any moment, and we don't have to wait until someone comes back and teaches again, or wait until we have our notebook with us. It informs completely how I move beautifully through the world.
Yes, it's different touch points, and you continuously to visit them to grow and morph and get in deeper even more. We can't wait to share with you what that island looks like, all the components. Lorca really just mentioned 2 of them, and there's a multiple way of really truly getting yourself in the right turn, the right spiral that continue to support you. So go to bookofyou.com. We can't wait for you to discover this experience and learn more, and connect with Lorca on LinkedIn or myself. And we would love to hear how you are really beautifully creating something amazing in the world, whether it's in healthcare or wellness, or you have found something, just a gap, and you can't wait to help others to solve. Many people talk about self-awareness, but it's not just being aware of who you are, but for other people, be super clear and aware so they can actually not distract you, but help you to get to the next level of achievement, and also be able to not only making sure everyone is work cohesively, it also means when you are not performing at your best, when you are stressful, other people also know how to lift you up and remove the barriers in front of you. So in this episode, we dive into some of the major transformational power tools as we explained how to create more resilience and how resilience will truly be a critical factor in maintaining sustainable growth, and what does Book of You retreat means, something that's focused truly on who you are and optimizing everyone around you. So here are some things that we explored today. Number 1, we introduced the idea of how do you have a holistic leadership for your healthcare company. It's about discovering how embracing critical ideas, expertise, and not just feel like, oh, you can hire one or two people who has all these experience. Because we know master of none truly would not be the best people to be on your board or executive to help you. And all of us have many experiences. We have to be true and be able to double down on what we do the best. And that's how we can flourish and be able to have 12 critical advisors, each who are the experts in each domain of business. Number 2 is the journey of self-awareness and resilience. Hearing the inspiration story from Lorca, who has a personal tragedy, but able to turn that into professional strength, emphasizing the importance of resilience and self-awareness and transfer the awareness into tools that no matter what you're struggling, you can come back to these tools to be able to uplift you and transform it into a better, higher function self. Number 3 is the role of leadership in your business growth, how we are able to create both harmony within your personal well-being as well as continue to push forward with your business success and not feeling like you are neglecting any side of who you are, and value who you are as an individual as well as everybody else around you, and be able to say and recognize and honest, creating the right boundaries to put the right people in the right place so everyone feels more self-motivated and aligned to move forward together. Number 4, the self-awareness tool for effective leadership. So how you were able to understand and know your strengths and limitations, and so you can quickly make the right decision and communicate effectively and actually understand how you influence and understand others, how other people are doing differently is very powerful. Because at the end of the day, leader is not a true leader until you can influence positively of the people around you, prospects, partners, and your staff in a dynamic way. And last but not least, implementing holistic leadership practices, different ways to develop a personal leadership strategy that is fitting to your organizational culture. And truly, we're not building cultures. There's no such thing as building culture, but how you format who you are by identifying the right people, that is culture in itself. It's really difficult to train people into something without having that inner deep level of understanding already. So when we think about culture, thinking about self-awareness, it's actually about be able to have these specific set measurements and markers that when you are hiring, when you are looking at your current staff, we can put the right people and shuffling and give different titles or different roles so people are already function in their highest highest ability. And that is the true positive culture. It's not about training someone to be better at sales or better customer journey satisfaction person or better at understanding the details of every task. It's already knowing if these are important for your organization, that the person who's hiring for that particular role already embodied the ability to be detail focused instead of a role that requires big picture, then you only hire people with that in mind. And that's why we have different assessments, activities to be able to gravitate and create a comprehensive review of how these things are put together. And at the end of the day, that's what Book of You Retreat really is about, that not only the leaders are become more self-aware and be heard, seen, and truly understood, but also have a menu that everybody can instantly get what motivates them, what slow them down, how do you support you in the stressful situation, how do you support you and celebrate in the good moments and still feel the drive to keep moving to the next level. Now, I would love to ask you, what steps will you take to incorporate holistic leadership into your business? answer the question, drop me a private message on LinkedIn. Love to have a conversation with you. Thank you for tuning in to Provider's Edge podcast. We hope you enjoy our latest episode and found the insights and tips helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback on the show and learn what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. So please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and let us know what you think. Your feedback is essential to help us improve the show and provide you with the content you need to take your healthcare business to the next level. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.